Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, or good evening, or whatever. I'm back with this week's last stream. I'm gonna continue with the interaction system. And yesterday I also mentioned a pull request review. I'm gonna have to move that one to early next week because unfortunately today is going to be a little bit of a shorter stream once again because of sickness. But hopefully it will be short but productive. Right. So I think the last thing that got implemented yesterday was now we have that issue again with this one. Let's see, Cypher. Oh, how's the kiddo doing? He's actually doing better. Not good enough to be on preschool or kindergarten today. So that's why I gotta take care of him after lunch. But he's doing better. Thanks for asking. Okay, so I think the control flow for interactors was the last thing we got going yesterday. So focusing something changes the interactor focus and sends out events to interact to whoever is listening and changes the state of that one. Okay, so that's very nice. So what I want to do now is, in the playable entity, just like we add a listener to interaction type focus, I want to add listeners to all interactions, and we want to show so anytime any interaction becomes ready, we want to show that to the player, i.e. we're gonna signal to button map, hey, show this button at this position for this interaction, and so on. So instead of doing all of this, it's going to look a little bit nicer. Update user interface. Change name. We're gonna do I'm gonna call this display information. So okay, and then I want to add one more thing here, because so the initial idea was to do, let's see, for each interactor in interactors dot values, interactor, do I actually need add listener to interactor? Nah, I think it's we're gonna do or let's see here. Private void display interaction options. Maybe. Interactor dot event add listener. Okay, two problems with this. This one doesn't know which interactor. Because it's just a Unity event without arguments we're utilizing. So that is problem one with the communication. And another problem is, we might get to that one a little bit later, but it has to do with if button maps should be cleared and how they should be cleared, basically. So instead, like interactor state change event, we want to use this one to display interaction options. That's for sure. And then we also need something like, so again, playable entity is going to work as kind of a bridge between input handler and interactors. Oh yeah. Bind interaction, interactor, interaction type dot priority, and then the action. So this right here is basically the goal. We want to do something like this, but with a little bit more information, and we want to do something like this, but with overriding might actually be good. So we're going to show bind interaction, we're going to show them by priority. And if we get a new one, so this is basically what's going to happen. First of all, we're going to bind some function to interactor state change, and if state change gets changed to ready, that's when we're going to show this one. We just need to know which interactor it's ready for. So I wonder if I want to do so the most easy, one sec. Okay, back. So like the most apparent way to do this would be to just add an interactor argument to this event. Although, ooh, that might not be such a bad idea. So basically doing, let's go interactor. Interactor state change event. So it's basically we want to know which component or which object actually sent out this change event, and I'm gonna Google it if there's a nicer way, but most likely the way to do it is something like this. But we will see. And then we invoke with this. Unity event get sender, maybe. Let's see this one. Okay. Let's do it. Interactor state. Oh, let me just check one last thing. So let's go to the documentation. Interactor. Sorry, I just need to run AFK real quick, so be right back. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Good morning, Dashido Gaming. How are you doing today? Okay. I think the best solution is actually to do it like this. We're gonna include the interactor. So state changed for this interactor. Let's try it. Oops. Invoke this. Is this bad practice? I don't know. add update state. Ooh, but I think this is so much better. Is ready to process, because if we send in this one, we don't need to check is ready to process. Yeah. I'm just wondering if I can make this a little bit prettier by, so like if we send in interactor here, in this method we know which interactor that has changed state, but we still need to look at the other ones. Yeah. Or we could, I guess we could simplify it a little bit. So update set state, we check, so we get an argument here of which interactor it was that changed state. So we check that one. If that one is fulfilled, then we check if the others are fulfilled. Okay, yeah, I think this is a better way. Though, because we really don't, we just need to check all of the states, or is ready to process if update state update state, however, let's see. Okay, right now we just call it from. This is a function I might want to call in start as well. Okay, so we're looking at something like this: interactor, or interactor caller. We want to update state because some interactor has changed state. So let's just call it interactor for now. Because then we can check, okay, interactor state, if it's unavailable we don't want to continue, but if it's not, we want to check if We're gonna need to get, like, we want to check, okay, so this interactor has changed state, we depend on it. Has this dependency fixed itself? If so, then we check if ready to process, otherwise no. Dashing Duo Gaming, the things you're working on now, the interactor focus and such, what will it be for in the game later? So this is pretty much this is going to be part of the foundation, basically. So this is going to be used for any sort of interaction in the game world. Like if the player character wants to sit on a chair, these components or these classes are going to be involved in it. If a creature wants to find something to eat and then find something to eat and then eats it, these components will control that. So this is a very broad, big system that will work as a foundation, basically. It's just to allow for every entity in the game world to talk to each other. Yeah, but yeah, it's basically a big system that will allow for entities to interact with each other in the game world. Yeah. So what I could do here is find the interactor dependency that involves this interactor, but I think just finding it in the array is going to be more costly than just running to is ready to process instantly. Probably just gonna leave it like this for now. Display interaction options. Oh yeah. Or we're gonna do display interactor options for interactor. I think this is nice. And then we had, so input handler, focus event, add listener. Yeah, we want to do that, but display information. Add listener to interactor. Yeah, and display information is now gonna include a interactor in the call, and that way we don't need to do this, nor this, nor this, I don't think. We do need to check, let's see. this one, of course. So we just need to do this. Information display information. And the good thing now is that display information is not based on, it can now handle any type of interactor and not only interactor focus, which is nice. So this code right here, yeah, we want to do this in display interactor options. But we want to do more things here. So basically we take every interactor, like if a state of any interactors in this entity changes, we want to call display interactor options. But we just want to do it if the interactor state dot state or is in state, interactor state ready. So if it's not in this state, then we don't want to do something. But if it is, then we want to bind some actual input to that interactor action. Pretty much exactly like this. But we also want to show to the player which button to click to instantiate this interaction. So that would look something like button map dot show button item for object. Interactor dot processed entity, or no. Okay, so we want to show it for some specific object. So we want to show it for that object this interactor is going to interact with, and that depends on the dependency and such. So let's see here. And this is not only display interactor options, but rather let's keep it like that for now. But interactor, so it could either be this one or, let's see here, get interactor dependency entity, this one I think. Yeah. But also, let's see. rather, let's see. Show button item for object. Might want to rename some of these functions later on, but this will work for now. If interactable entity is not equal to null, then we want to do, let's go with early exit this time around as well. If it's equal to null, return. Otherwise, show button item for object interactable entity. Index, so this is going to be the priority, so interactor dot priority, but it's going to be interactable interaction type get priority. And then we have what button text string to show and what button description text string. It's almost as like I could probably make button map know about interaction types and we just send in an interaction type. That might be much prettier. So show button item for object. So if we just let this one know, maybe rename it. But if if this one knows about interaction types, then we just need to send in interaction type here and that will get all information itself. Maybe. But then I want to rename them as well. Let's go like this for now. Make button map know about interaction type and simplify. Okay, so for now it's going to be interactor dot interaction type dot. Ooh. That is true. Let's see. Yeah, so this is where we want to get from the input handler. But this shouldn't be here. So the idea is that the button map looks like this. Let me show. Make this a little bit easier to understand. Open up. So this is the button map. One of those classical interaction button maps, basically. And when we call show button item for object, game object decides where in the game world this one will be located. So this one will be located on this game object. Index pretty much decides which one of these 4 buttons it will be. This is index 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And that is the priority of them also. So like the most important interactions will be on this one. If we don't have anything focused, it will probably be jump. And so on. So that's what this index is for. Button text string. This one I must have, like, I don't know why I put this one here as an argument, because that is going to be basically this one. So whatever character is here, or how this one visually looks. But that is more relevant to input handler. So we're probably gonna make button map listen to input handler. If input type changes, then we populate these differently. So like button map, during setup, it will check what is the main input controller, what type is it. If it's keyboard, we're going to populate these with 1, 2, 3, 4. So buttons 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's controller, we're going to populate them based on what controller it is. So what is it for switch? X, Y, A, B, or something like that. So this is not actually anything that should be set here. Button description text string, however, this one, because that's going to show what type of interactions we are going to do. So if we focus an item on the ground, for instance, this text here might be changed to pickup. And depending on how many things we can do with it, the other will populate as well. But for now, only this one will be used. If we're holding an object and that object is focused, we might have, instead of pickup here, we have drop. And here we might have consume, or actually we might have collect, maybe like put it in the backpack or in the inventory. And here we might have consume, or here, whatever. But you get the point. So don't need this one, but I'm gonna add some notes here. To do instantiate button map item dot button text based on active input type in, like this. And then also to do listen on active input type change in input handler and change or update accordingly. So button text string, fuck that one. Although show, yeah. Okay, so it's going to look like this instead. Playable entity, get priority. So now we just want the description, and that is going to be interactor dot interaction type dot description or something like that. I don't think we have that implemented just yet. I need to figure out real quick. VS Code shortcut for opening file or something. Control P, quick open. How does that work? Control P, interaction type. Nice. Can I do playable entity? Ah, nice. interaction type. So we have priority function here. Also want a public static int. So get string is already overridden. I think we're gonna do get description for now. Yeah, let's do it like this for now, although I'm not a very big fan of doing it exactly like this. So, oh yeah, this one is going to be string. Put in inventory. Store. Maybe just store. So something like this. Any problems as of now? Probably not, right? Button map. Show button item for object. Show. Okay. I think I want to try this one very soon. Input handler. Yeah, bind interaction if we're gonna bind it. Ooh, okay, there's one thing I wanna handle as well. But let's, first of all, if we bind interaction, go to definition F12. What kind of... That might be a good shortcut, but okay, bind interaction. If index interaction action is less than length, yes. And we basically want to do this, although, yes, here's the problem. Okay, so this is a problem I mentioned a few days back. When we work with interaction actions, so Unity input actions, they work around something called input action callback context. And this action we send in here won't have a context. or this function we send in here won't rely on it. So we get a little bit of a mismatch. And of course we can just wrap this into a action that takes a callback context, but then we can't remove that specific. So if we want to remove that action later on from here, it's going to be hard. So when we wrap it, we do it in an anonymous function pretty much, and we don't have a reference to that anonymous function. It's anonymous, or that's the reason it's anonymous. And I want to be able to do this. So what's up, Hula Dave? Dev, good morning. I've been wanting to say that exact phrase. I just haven't figured out yet if it's proper or not. But the cat is out of the bag now, I suppose. How are you doing today? So we could do what I've been doing with all the other input actions in input handler, and that is wrap them in here in Unity events. And that just feels like a little bit of a hack, but it has worked out so far, especially for things like this. But maybe that's what I'm gonna have to do. Because that way, it would be so nice. We're gonna do it that way, because then we can work with these, and we have actual references to them, and so yeah, let's do it. So interaction actions. Let's do primary movement event. Yeah, public Unity event. Interaction events. I know I had this implemented, or something very similar to this, a couple of days ago, and I removed it for some reason. This one is going to be an array. So we're basically gonna do not this, but instead for each. For int so we want to enable it, and I also want to do interaction events is equal to new Unity event interaction actions dot length. Okay, and instantiate events. Would like to instantiate them here. Then I'm gonna have 2 for loops. Enable input action. It's actually just enabled, so let's do this. Let's remove this one for now. Let's go with 2. Primary movement, toggle. Interaction events. Yes. We don't need to do that. Instead, Chronic Trims, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Interaction events, yeah. So now the question is, where do I want to bind it? I've done it before here, so let's do it here again. No. So this one assumes interaction events, that these has been already been instantiated. And we're gonna keep it like that. So no. So it's actually going to be interaction actions I dot performed plus equals to context. A context we don't even care about for now. Instead, it's just going to be these can be anonymous. If we do it this way, these can be anonymous, so that's okay. But then once again we have the problem with local I and anonymous functions, so okay. Interaction events dot invoke. So we just wrap it. Interaction actions will always be enabled, and triggering we will perform invoke, and it's going to be, so bind interaction index. This one is going to be, instead of binding the actions, which we can't, we're going to do interaction events index dot add, oh this is so much nicer I think, dot add listener interaction action. Yes. And interaction events index remove we want to remove a specific listener. Remove listener. Right, this should work. I'm a little bit worried though that I'm missing more than one thing. So would love to do something like private void late update. Oh yay. In interaction events. Yes, please. Okay, so maybe not the best way. We're gonna get this each frame, but might be worth it. Playable entities. We do bind interactions here. Bind interaction, but we never call unbind interaction. And information displayer, playable entity. So let's see here, is in state. Yeah, I think we're gonna add some, so like interactor. Interactor state change event. I think I want to send in more things here. I think I want to send in, first of all, the interactor, definitely. But I want to send in the old state and the new state, I think. So if something goes from whatever to ready, then we want to bind actions. If something goes from ready to whatever, then we want to remove. I wonder if this could be... does it exist a nicer way to do this? Yeah. Because then we don't even need to do these checks here. Because we're gonna get... we do need to do the checks, but we don't need to call this. Is this a good approach? So it's gonna make this a lot easier, I think. Display interaction options. But I might as well... Yeah, this is problem number 2 I mentioned earlier. So, what if... Yeah, so okay. This scenario, we... Like, interactor A gets set to ready. So we show the button and we bind the interaction for interactor A. Then interactor B gets ready and they have the same priority. So interactor B overrides this and overrides this. So now we have 2 interactions bound with this one. Okay, so it overrides this, but we just add the old one here. That's an issue. I'm gonna have to keep track of this in some way. Playable entity, yeah, might want to have some form of wrapper here actually. Good morning, Ferda, how are you doing today? So I'm wondering if I might even want to have this in playable entity. I don't know. Ferda, good, love your streaming discipline. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah. Trying to be extremely consistent this year. And streaming being one of them. One of the things I'm trying to be more consistent at. Diligence, humility, what up? How are you doing today? How's it going? It's going pretty good. What's up, Soul Reaver? I hope you're having a good day. Thank you. Likewise. So yeah, although it's a bit nicer now. Okay, we're getting closer to it. This interaction still needs to be cleaned up to be able to work properly. Playable entity. Yeah, it feels like I might need some wrapper class here. Like a wrapper class that keeps track of if an interactor is bound to a input action, basically. because it's extremely important that only one interactor is bound to an input at a time. Star Platinum, show me what you got. What's up? How are you doing today? So the cleanup, like the binding and unbinding of interactions to input actions is extremely important that we get it right. Would like to avoid having to introduce an additional so I guess it's going to be interactor. Star Platinum, nice to hear. And then can you show me everything you made when I wasn't in some streams? No, not right now, sorry. You can check the streams, the last couple of streams, or you can wait for when I get this in place. I'm probably gonna make a video about it. But to summarize it for you, the interactor system is pretty much a state machine right now, and it's working pretty good. At least it passes the very small tests so far. Star Platinum, why state machine? Good question. Because everything boils down to me wanting interactors to depend on other interactors, basically. So interactor pickup depends on interactor focus, and when interactor focus its state changes, then interactor pickup gets notified and it checks if it can do anything. It's just a nice way for the interactors to communicate with each other. Soul Reaver, are you streaming to multiple platforms or rubber duck programming? I'm streaming to multiple platforms, or just Twitch and YouTube. Unfortunately, I would love to be able to have both chats on screen, but that is a little bit of a gray area and might be a bannable offense. So instead I just try to, like, if someone says anything in chat, I try to remember to say their name and summarize what they said, so it makes a little bit more sense. No, you're okay. Stino, thank you so much for the follow, appreciate it. Star Platinum, then use interface/inheritance/scriptable objects, and the state machine is like enum. I'm not entirely sure I understand what you mean. I don't really think they are exclusive in that way. So the interactor state machine implementation we got going on right now actually utilizes both inheritance and enums. Cypher5, I find it really hard to just talk when streaming. Same here, to be honest, or way more previously. Like, the more you expose yourself to something, the easier it gets, or at least in my experience. Star Platinum, how are you making the interactive state machine? What's the parameters stored state? There's a lot of different variables included and things like that. So when I say so it's pretty much it's pretty much this we've implemented, and I mean that can mean a lot of different things based on, like, it's just a pattern, and then how you specifically implement it is up to you, I suppose. But the two main actors in this state machine is this unity event right here and this variable right here. So it's a state machine depending on interactor state, pretty much. But now we are a little bit higher up and we want to utilize this one. So this has allowed us to do things like this, which is very nice. Although could probably clean this up a little bit, but like this. So anytime the interactor focus changes state, display information. Anytime any interactor changes state, display interactor options. Extremely nice. Star Platinum, I see, but why you use state machine, not interface? I'm still not sure I understand completely. They are like not exclusive. I suppose you could use a state machine and interface, like implement it with interfaces. And it's like, it's not the whole interactor system that is state machine based. It's just how the different interactors speak with each other or communicate with each other. Okay, so the problem now is the binding of interactions to the actual input method of the player. And this is a little bit of a crucial part and needs to be done correctly. So bind interaction. Could do bind interaction. Okay, so if we override something, you could do so bind interaction if we get to this one, we could just do interaction events, remove all listeners first of all, so then we will never, this fixes one of the issues. So doing it like this, we will never have multiple interactions bound to the same event. So now we pretty much override. Maybe it doesn't have to be harder than that. Oh yeah, of course. And then we need to okay, so now we only have one interactor bound to one input at a time. And now we also need a nice way for, like, when an interactor changes state to not ready, so when it goes from ready to something else, then we want to remove that interaction if that interaction is active. Yeah, that's true. So let's take a quick look. Unity event documentation. Add listener, invoke, remove listener. Yeah, so what I'm a little bit worried about is the scenario I talked about previously. So button map, show button item for object. So we bind interactor A to the button, then we get interactor B with the same priority, so we bind interactor B to this interaction. Which means, so we override it. But then we get a state change from interactor A. That one is no longer available, which means that we're going to call unbind on that one, but that one is no longer bound to this one. And we need a way to be able to check that. So we just want to remove it if it's still bound to it. And that's why I want to introduce, or I'm leaning against introducing an additional class here, which maps input action, Unity event, or which contains both input action or Unity event and interactor. So it pairs it's like a class for pairing interactors with events. But I don't know. So that would probably be input handle input. And I don't know if I want to store it here or maybe I do. And it could even store, it could even be a mapper to the actual user interface button map item in the future. Input interactor map. Yeah. Let's go with for now. I think That might be the best option. And then we don't even need to do this, I don't think. Display interactor options. D Sabbath, morning, good morning. How are you doing today? Bind interaction. Okay, let's do it. Input interactor map. Input interactor map. D Sabbath doing good, still waking up and trying to find the willpower to open VS Code. That's relatable. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. But input interactor map, it all comes down to, like, does this one relate more to input handler or playable entity? Like, who do I want to handle this one? Probably playable entity, I think. Input interactor map. Do I need it to be mono behavior? No, I don't. So this one is going to be public. Yeah. Okay, so this one is going to be the wrapper. A little bit back and forth here, but let's go with input system. So we're gonna have a something like this. Public void trigger, maybe. Or just could go with invoke. And this one is gonna handle this one, even though we don't even care that much about that one. Public interactor bound interactor. Yeah. Public void bind interactor. unbind. Oops. Invoke if bound interactor is not equal to null. Bound interactor dot interact. I think bind interactor if bound interactor is equal to null, or actually not equal to null, but it's also and bound interactor is not equal to interactor. So I want to handle, if we try to bind it twice, this is the only thing that will execute, right? But if the bound interactor is not equal to null and not equal to this one, then we want to unbind did I screw up? Unbind interactor, bound interactor. Do I want to do something else? This one is nice, I think. I also think that I might bake button map or button map item into this one. I think that's good. Okay, so unbind interactor. Do I want to do anything else than... Probably not. Not for now. Awake start. Do I want to do this in awake? Let's see, input handler. Now let's do it in start. I'm gonna do it first of all. So this is pretty much where I want to instantiate these and do the initial bind to the actual input. So it's gonna look something like input interactor maps is equal to new interactor map. Don't want to do this anymore. So if input handler is not equal to null, Bum, 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 bum. Oops. Good morning, I'm Cynic, or just Cynic. How are you doing today? Input interactor maps is equal to new input interactor maps. We base it on that one, and then we do for and input. Not too sure about this one, but it's equal to new input interactor map. No start, and then I want to do input handler dot handler I dot performed plus equals to invoke. Like, someone's gotta do this, and I wonder if playable entity is up for the task. Okay, Cynic, all good. Just finished a 2-hour long meeting. Well, 2 meetings, 1 hour each. That sounds fun. I'm fine as well. And good morning, Coding Gate. How are you doing today? Or let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna let this one. We're gonna let this one do this for now. Love, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it. And Coding Gate, thank you so much for the follow. Coding Gate, very good to develop in Unity. Too bad my laptop keeps frying when I open it. Oh, damn. Yeah, that's too bad. But, you know, Godot. I've only heard good things about Godot as well. Or almost only good things. Note. It doesn't feel like this one, like it kind of belongs in this class, but kind of not as well. What's up, Cooler SK? How are you doing today? So we're gonna keep it here for now. And we do all of this. Okay, so now when we have input interactor maps, we can hopefully... Okay, so now I'm going back and forth a tiny bit here, but that's okay. So interaction events, we don't need this. We can no longer debug this. Don't care about this. And we just want to enable this one here. We don't care about local I. Thought we had this one here. For each yeah. Do we need to do, or is it just a question about this? Yes, beautiful. Okay. Code and Gate, yes, hope you enjoy the videos. Good morning, Lova. No problem at all, and I appreciate it. Okay, do we have any errors? Yes, we do. So previously we relied on input handler fixing bind interaction and unbind interaction. All of this logic has been moved into input interactor map right now, which I think that might actually be a better option. So we don't need to work with input handler down here anymore, because so we define the relationship up here, and then we only need to work with input interactor maps down here. So instead of this, what we're gonna do is priority, once again, is probably not the correct term for like this one. Cypher, is it rock-a-doodle or rock-a-doodle? Good question, good question. I don't remember exactly where I came up with this name, but let's see, rock-a-doodle, that's usually how I pronounce it. Sakeru, sorry about the pronunciation, man, but thank you so much for the sub, appreciate it. And Smack My Peach, good morning, how are you doing today? Yes, I love to see it. Extremely thankful. Okay, so we need to do the check here. Priority is wrong though, but if interactor dot interaction type dot get priority, like what this one is like interaction index, basically. That's a bad way to explain it as well, but yeah. So if get priority is less than, what did I call it, maps, input interactor maps dot length, then we do input interactor dot bind interactor. Aight. Sakeru, now I pronounced it in a different way. Your pronunciation is fine. Happy to see you streaming. Thank you. Joined late. What is the goal of your interaction system? Yeah. So this interaction system is going to be the foundation of how entities in this game world interact with each other, basically. So this is going to be the foundation that allows for all the entities to interact with each other in different ways. So like a creature interacting with another creature, for instance, is going to utilize the same base system as the player character interacting with a consumable. That's the idea. Because, like, yeah, it sounds good. We will see how it turns out. But it's basically going to be a form of, you could say a form of simulation in parts, this game. So you will have a garden that is inhabited but by a lot of different creatures, and like how they work, how they go about their day inside of this garden will basically be a simulation, and in part thanks to this interaction system, if I can get it to work in place. And D Sabbath, by the way, Godot will be the blender of the game engines in a couple of years. I hope that's true. I've said it before, and I fucking love everything about Blender, how it's developed, the software itself, and so on. Okay, so now the only thing that is left to do is to properly unbind interactors from. So if an interactor goes from ready back to non-ready, then we want to unbind it here. But only if the bound interactor is equal to interactor. Right? So this was the big issue, and this was one of the reasons that this class got introduced. Okay. Display interaction options needs to be renamed, because this one is handling a lot more than just displaying interactor options. To do. Maybe. Okay. So the only thing left to do now is display interactor options, which will be renamed. I might want to send in, okay, so in some way we need to figure out if this one, okay, so this one is the interactor that changed state. This interactor went from state X to state Y. And it's not going to be as simple as this, because we want to do a lot of things here. So if it went from state ready to something else, then we want to unbind it, right? If it went from some other state to ready, then we want to bind it. So I guess this could easily be done with, and the more I look at this, the more it makes sense to keep the button map in this one. Yeah, it does, because we will have the same problem with button map. So yep, we are gonna move that in to this one, but for now let's just handle this one. So it's gonna be if for now we're gonna do if interactor is in interactor state ready. So we're just gonna assume that it wasn't ready before. Then we do this. So we bind it. Else if interactor, just else actually, for now. Need to check this one again. Now I'm thinking, yeah, might just move this one out to here. Otherwise, unbind. Okay, so if an interactor state signals that it is ready, then we bind the interactor. If it signals that it's not ready, then we unbind it if we have it. So right now it's going to be a lot of unnecessary calls to unbind the interactor here, but that's okay. Now we just need to do the same thing for button map, but instead of working with it out here, we can just include it in the input interactor map, I think. So this is, so if this one is the underlying functionality to get this to work, this one is the visual representation of that. So button maps job is to tell the player what he or she can do. If that makes any sense. So button map. I'm not even sure I want to keep this one going. Like if I want to keep this one as the overlord of these, but it's a nice way to define how this one will look and how the button map items relate to each other. But so here when we do input interactor maps dot length, I would like to instantiate the button map items like just in here. It would be nice. But do I want more? Like I want to position them like this, and this is easy to do thanks to it being a prefab. For now, let's just do, let's instantiate it like this, so it gets instantiated with 4 button map items and it hides them. This one is private, probably gonna do I want to get this one because we're gonna, for now, we're gonna let playable entity just instantiate a button map prefab like this, and then we're just gonna map the button map items to the corresponding input interactor map, basically. Unscripted Logic, thank you so much for the raid. How did your stream go? Architect the unscripted of logics. Maybe. But then of course, so we're gonna keep it like, we're gonna shoehorn in basically a private button map item here for now, and I'm gonna put a note, maybe instantiate this one in here. Unscripted Logic went well, didn't suffer in bugs this time. Nice to hear. And when you react to my file tabs, do you react because of the color green or something else? Okay. Oh, you mean like this, so we have multiple rows here? Yeah, I had to change some setting for it. Yeah, I hate when it just hides. But then again, these days I'm trying to rely more on this one. It makes it a little bit, like, it's easier to jump between classes with Control P than it is looking for something up here. So I might as well just go with hide in the future. Or I try to learn to rely on this one more. I'm still up here with my mouse searching sometimes. Yeah, so input, but then this is slow sometimes as well. Okay. So now we have a button map item here. We just need to, so bind interactor. We're just gonna have a public void bind button map item. Yeah. Let's see, unscripted logic. Not having to use the mouse to navigate around while coding can be pretty fast sometimes. Yeah, I try to rely less and less on the mouse when I code. It's just, hey, I'm getting old. I don't want to waste energy if I don't have to. D Sabbath, speaking of file tabs, I didn't know VS Code could do that before I started watching your streams. My sanity is a bit better now. Okay, nice to hear. Good morning, Dark Summoned. How are you doing today? And okay, so if we have a bound button map item, then we want to populate it. So what we did outside here, like this long code, we're going to do it inside, and it's going to be a little bit prettier, I think. I don't want this one out here. care about this one. Let's see. Oh yeah. First of all, I want to bind the button map item as well. Dark summons, all right, nice. Yeah, same here. Yeah, nothing to complain about. So I want to bind it in here, input interaction maps. But then of course, if I is less than button map items dot length, then we can bind it. So input interactor maps I dot bind button map item button map items I. Oh, what's up, Dev Spires? Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it. Hope your stream went well. And thank you. Yeah, welcome all new viewers. What I'm currently struggling with is an interactor system, or interaction system rather, for my game. An interaction system that will support all kinds of different interactions between all kinds of different entities. So yeah, it's a struggle, but it's moving forward. Okay, so input interactor maps are we now have a button map item bound to it, so that's good. We want to move on to, so now I want to do this. I want to do this inside of what is it called? Input interactor map instead. Oh, damn. Thank you so much, I'm Cynic. You're too kind, too kind. Wow. Goal reached indeed. I don't really know how to continue after this. Thank you so much. It's really, really appreciated. Yes, I'm speechless. No worries, I just want you to remember me when you're famous. Yeah. Yes, I can promise you that. Wow, thank you once again. Okay, let's try and continue after this. Okay, let's see here. Okay. I'm gonna do my best, even though fucking adrenaline kick from this. Okay. So I want to move this one to this one. So when we bind an interactor and when we unbind an interactor, I want to do stuff. Stuff related to this check. Smack my peach, that sounds like a good problem to have. Okay, so when we bind an interactor, we want to notify the button map to show the correct, like basically when we bind an interactor, we want to signal to the player that it can now interact with this object and how it can interact with that object, right? So if bound interactor is not equal to null and bound interactor is not equal to interactor, then we unbind it and we want to do some other stuff. Although if bound interactor is not equal to null and it's not equal to this new one, then we unbind the last one. Right. And then I'm probably gonna have to check if interactor is not equal to null. Illuminati, what's up? How are you doing today? If it's not equal to null, then we want to show button map item dot show for game object first of all, and that's going to be, we're gonna do a lot of stuff here. And once again, I would like to use null conditionals or the other one, but gotta remember that I can't. So I'm gonna do, what is it? Entity interactable entity is equal to interactor dot get this one, I think it is. Button map show. So we want to show it for this one, but this one can return null, I think. So interactable entity, if it's not equal to null, we return that one. Otherwise, we return interactor dot game object. I thought this was Okay, so basically what this one is doing is it tells button map item that, hey, display yourself at this object's position if this object is not equal to null. Otherwise, just display it on whatever the interactor is. And I want to fill it up with some other stuff as well. Show. No, not show. Something information. Set button information. Button description text string. And this one is pretty much going to be interactor dot interaction type dot get description. Okay. And then if we unbind it, we want to do something here as well. If bound interactor is equal to interactor, button map item dot hide. I think this is it. Now I want to try this, but I'm a little bit worried because we've done a lot of changes without testing them. But fuck it. Let's dive and eliminate the errors one after another if we need to. Okay, so no compile errors at least. That's good, I suppose. Okay, so what I'm anticipating now, or how I want this to run, is that I still want the old functionality of focusing object, like displaying information about objects I'm hovering the mouse over, right? But now I also want my action map to be displayed, or yeah, button map over the object in question. Let's see. Okay, we have that one displayed there. That's not good. The old stuff works, but not the new one. So I must be missing some call. Probably probably somewhere here. Smack my peach. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. I don't know what to say. Just thank you, everybody. It's really, really appreciated. Much love indeed. How am I gonna be able to debug this when I get this? Ooh, I need to focus. Okay, so we pretty much don't get any functionality with the button map here. That's weird. We don't even get, so when we instantiate it, button map, it doesn't even get hidden correctly, right? I might... Okay. Awake, button map instantiate, button map prefab. When this one gets instantiated, it's supposed to hide all the button map items, right? But it doesn't even do that. I wonder if it does it and we then get enables again. If input handler is not equal to null, we do a lot of things. Ooh, one sec. Let me check if we can see something in debug mode. Playable entity. I'm gonna have to serialize this one. Interactor is an abstract class, so I'm not sure we can show that one just yet. Button map item, this one is not, however, so that one should be able to be shown. This is mono behavior, so we don't even need to define it as serializable. Okay, let's see what we got now. Playable entity, input interactor maps, list is empty. Okay. That explains it. It doesn't explain, or does it? Why this one is shown. Okay. If input handler is not equal to null, we do input interaction actions. Is this one? No. Have I mistakenly made this empty again? Okay, that explains it. So we don't have any interaction actions. And nothing else works, basically. Although I'm a little bit worried about... Oh, actually, I'm still a little bit worried about this one. Why it's shown. This is listed as empty as well. Have some error screwed this up? I don't wonder. Krawea popping in for the daily thumbs up. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You too. Have a good one. Okay. I don't know why this has been reset, but let's just set up both of these things real quick. I don't think I've done any changes to warrant a reset here, but okay, south first, west second, north third. Okay, you gotta keep track of this. If this happens again, there's something I need to fix. And I want 4 input actions here. Oh yeah, this one I have changed though, I'm pretty sure. So add binding. Let's go with 1 keyboard. I'm just gonna bind it to 1 these days. Or this time around. And we're gonna add the game controller later down the road. So keyboard 2. 3 and 4. Okay, so now we have the interaction actions defined and button map is defined. So let's see what we get now. Button map item west is shown. Is it actually shown? Pause. Let's see. Button map west. Oh yeah. Okay, button map west is shown at the interactors place. I wonder. Pick up. Okay, so halfway there, I suppose. Want to fix this one as well. Okay, so 2 questions. Why is it at the interactors position and not this one's? Or is that the only question I have? Maybe it is. Okay, I want to check one more thing. Character 01 prefab. Interactor pickup. We're gonna change this to debug. Interactor pickup is ready, right? Because we are hovering this one, and that's why we get the button map shown as well. So the reason, or like the only place that can screw this up is inside of input interactor map and here. If it's not equal to null, use this game object, otherwise this one. But get interactor dependency entity. I'm worried I might not have enabled this. Order by, first or default, and then interactor reference. Entity provider, entity. Okay, so it could very well be this one. Let's double check before. Interactor focus. No. Interactor pickup, interactor dependencies is interactable provider. We should have gotten a interactable from this one. Interactor reference is set. And interactor focus is processed entity. We even have a processed entity here. So why is that one not returned? Go for code. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Everything is set up and ready to go. So show. We set the owner, we set the game object to active. If owner transfer. Yes, that should be okay. So we do both of these, that I know. I want to see... Am I gonna have to print this one? Let's do it. I'm like looking back onto this one because I'm trying to figure out if I'm tired and just can't. I've done some very simple mistake, like screwed up this, but if it's not equal to null, return its game object, otherwise this one shouldn't be that one. Ooh, actually, say character 01 prefab play. I'm wondering if character 01 prefab playable entity. Okay, so it's actually this one. Actually, so the interactable entity here is the player. That's a little bit weird. I wonder if it's because of its pickup. Playable entity. Go for code. Is Unity still a good option after Unity drama? Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Dark Summon here. Like I love Unity. I'm comfortable with Unity. I've worked with Unity for quite a while, and they backtracked on that whole thing. But I'm way more wary than I was before. I'm cynic. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Good times ahead, maybe. I hope so. Definitely hope so. Okay, so the weird thing here is that this one actually, interactable entity. Am I doing something wrong here? Get interactor dependency entity. I don't see this. This is weird. Interactive pickup depends on focus, and focus is, or actually, oh, shit. One sec. Okay, backstory about that one. No Dark Summons, luckily not. He just came running into my office here. Smack my peach, you should start worrying when you have semi-successful game. Until then, it's good enough. I guess. Children messing with the stream, yeah. Yep. Sometimes it be like that, but it's okay. Yeah, and that's like, unfortunately, I would like to continue stream way longer today, but unfortunately, my partner needs to work after lunch. So yeah, it will be a little bit of a shorter stream today as well. But the little one is healthy enough to probably, if not something happens, go to kindergarten on Monday, and then I promise to do a longer stream then. I'm sorry, Dark Summers, and it hurts me extra since you all have been so nice today. I'm cynic. Imagine if they decided to enforce the pay per download thingy. Palworld would have been destroyed. They would be on Lyxfällan for releasing a too successful game. Yeah. Thank you, Dark Summons. Appreciate it. Yeah, the pay per download thing, it boggles my mind how something like that, like, I don't see, like, I can't imagine it being something like that going through a big chain without someone questioning it. So I wonder if it was just bypassed most of them, actually. Like, someone high up got the idea and they just pushed it out. I have no idea what's going on behind those closed doors. I have as little of an idea of what's going on behind those doors as I have of what's going on in my code right now. So maybe I think before. So I wonder if pick up. I wonder if. So it's this one I want to pick up. So I want to do this. Let's see. Let's play again. I don't want to focus anything except for the cherry. I want to see if this one is some. Let's see here. Button map. Nothing is visible. That's good. Let's see. Pause. Where do we have this one? Now it's still at the player's origin. What the? Owner character 01 prefab. So it's basically so interactable entity interactor here returns. So this is the player. Pick up, consume, collect. Ooh, or nah. So get interactor dependency. This one checks. I'm cynic, or just cynic, sorry. Yeah, I mean, he was the CEO, so he could probably bypass a lot. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I wonder what would happen if the backlash wasn't as big as it was. Would they have gone through with it? Yeah, that mess was weird. Okay, so playable entity. I'm a little bit worried that interactor map, when we do this, let's see here. Yeah. Or Dark Summon, people get too greedy. Yeah, greed is... Damn, greed is such... It feels like... if I had to rank the deadly sins, greed is probably number one, according to me. Fucking hate it. Destroys so many things. Yeah, probably not, Cynic. No, this is the last stream of the week. But I will be back on Monday, if nothing unforeseen happens, and I'm gonna do a longer stream on Monday, I promise. But Cynic, have a great weekend. Yes. And thank you so much once again. Would love to get this issue under the wraps before, like, I want to get to the bottom of this before I quit today. I just find it so. One thing that I might be a cause of concern is when we do this. So basically we tell playable entity like, hey, in what way is this entity able to interact with other stuff? Then we get all those interactors, and then we add listeners, like display interactor options, to those state interactors, state changes. The way we do it means that we're currently including interactor focus in this, and focus is not something like, focus doesn't depend on input from the it does in some way, but like, how should I put this? We don't want to show keyboard. We don't want to show input type for focus, if that makes any sense. So when we get here, down here with focus, interactable entity, get interactor dependency entity. Ooh, we actually checked that already here. If it's null, we return. Okay, so we don't do this for focus. That's good. Otherwise, we do get priority. If it's less than this one, then we do bind interactor. If it's in state ready, bind interactor. Because if we take a look at interactor for focus, this one doesn't have any interactor dependencies, so this one returns null. So if it's equal to null, we just return null. Yes! Dude, how could I miss this? So we figure out the entity provider, and then we just return, like, so this is an interactor, so this is interactor focus, so we just return its entity, and that's not good. V0, oh god, I got PTSD flashbacks from uni. What did I say or do that triggered those flashbacks? So entity provider, we don't want to return the entity, we want to return processed entity. Like that. Alright. That should probably do it. Nah, just the code and the color scheme. The default color scheme. I love it. Pastel colors, basically. Okay, let's see here. So yes, now we have our little button map showing up on the correct place. Is it pickup V? Okay, it's not the correct place as of yet. We need to offset it as well, but way better. Oh, I have so many things now. When we got this in place now, I have so many things I want to do next stream. Dark Summon, whoop. Yeah, indeed. Whoop, whoop. And like, although some of the implementation is a little bit dirty, I think the overall flow of all this is very nice. Okay, this is great. I have so many things I want to do, but yeah. So pickup. We don't have any. We do have one option here. So that's probably something we want to fix. I think we have do we have pickup for the character as well? So right now the player might actually be able to trigger pickup on this one. As long as it's not too dirty, it will be right. Yeah, that's a good mindset to have. Okay, I can't actually trigger the pickup, but I can't actually trigger any pickup. So, on to the next issue. This one is now correct. This one is now correct. Oh, okay, yeah. But for some reason, we do so input handler interaction actions performed plus equals to input interactor maps. In input interactor maps dot invoke. Okay, invoke if bound interactor is not equal to null. I want to see. Input interactor map invoked on bound interactor. Let's see if we at least get any invoke prompts or triggers. input interactor map invoked on just some. Okay, so it does actually invoke. We do actually call this one, although yeah, this one. V0, watching people who know how to code is always impressive. I'm gonna accept that. Thank you so much. And I do agree with you. Hey, like database programming, that's also hella impressive, isn't it? So are you working a lot with SQL and similar stuff? Yeah, SSMS. Never heard about that. Database SSMS. It's been a while since I did anything with databases, but I remember it. Like, what the fuck? Database programming is incredibly impressive as well. Ah, very nice. I'm sorry for this pronunciation, but Mridul Sharma, hey, why did you choose Unity? So I chose Unity. How long have I been working in Unity? Probably 6 years, I think. 5 or 6 years. And the option was between Unity and Unreal Engine for me at that point. And eventually I chose Unity because of the vast amount of resources available on the internet. Basically. Okay, so we do get this trigger, bound interactor interact, invoked on Unity Engine object. Fuck, wish I would have done bound interactor dot game object dot name. But this one shouldn't be equal to null, so we do call interact, but nothing else happens. Interact, get interactor dependency entity. Okay, so if entity is equal to null, stop processing. If it's ready to process entity. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some debug here. I find SQL much more literal, like it's almost like writing a sentence, and that is almost the code. I've seen some programming languages, like I think the idea behind Objective-C, I've seen it being described as like the creators of it wanted it to be like reading a book. But yeah, I can see it. Like SQL being more like writing and reading sentences than programming. Chronic Trims, how long do you make games in Unity? I've made games in Unity 5 or 6 years. Sharma, I took Unreal as my engine, but I still enjoy other devs working with different engines. Yeah, same here, except that I picked Unity then. But like, Now it's more like I'm like staying with Unity because I'm so comfortable in it, and I still appreciate it. But when I see some of the things Unreal Engine is putting out there, damn. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Unity. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to do this with a lot of... We're gonna have to debug this. And I'm a big fan of printing debug messages, because I think we're gonna check this one first of all, but I think we're actually interacting with the correct object. So it's actually when we go down to interact here where the problems start appearing. So it's inside of the interactor flow. I think this might be a cause of why we're not seeing the object being picked up. And I would like to change this V as well, but yeah. Okay. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Okay. So, bound interactor is actually null here. That is not good. V0, it's funny, my relaxing time from SQL coding is to watch someone else code. But hey, it is relaxing watching someone else work. I want to see you try and pick up that giant pear. Yeah. Heavy pear, yeah. Yeah, I wanna do that, but okay. So why the fuck is this one null? That doesn't make any sense, right? If this one is null, we shouldn't show. Bound interactor is null. How? Why is? Okay, so we want to pause here. So we do have pickup showing up, which tells me that interactor should not be null. This shouldn't be able. It shouldn't be able to be this way. So I want to check character 01 prefab playable entity input interactor map element 0 bound interactor. That's south. We have element 1. Okay, here we do have an interactor pickup. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Of course, it's... I clicked 1, which is element 0, which is not bound, which is not even visible here. And because I bypassed with my debug log, I didn't check for null, we get an error. So that was my mistake. Instead, I should be hovering this and click 2. And we should get a pickup. Unfortunately, we don't. So we invoke it, but nothing happens. So we do get interact here, and it's in this method. We're gonna have to continue this adventure. What is it? Go to definition F12. Need to remember that one. F12. Interact. debug. Because unfortunately, due to sickness in the family, I'm gonna have to call it for today now. Would really like to continue streaming today, but sometimes it be like that. But yeah, I will be back on Monday. Will be doing a longer stream then, if nothing unforeseen happens. So yeah, 9 a.m. Central European Time. V0, thank you so much for watching. Family first, yes. That is true. But yeah. Thank you, Cypher and Luva and Dark Summon. Yes. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. And hopefully I will see you on Monday. Peace.